inspected land and was leaving stuff.
And their service to the city, Lord. Thank you for placing them here. Help us to be wise in this meeting tonight. If there's anyone here who doesn't know you, help them to talk to somebody who knows you, and help us to just be a community that shows godly things, Lord. It's in your holy, most precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge.
Alderman Pitt. Alderman Urvis. Here. Alderman McCall. Alderman Navarro. Alderman Gladney.
Here.
Mayor Stevens.
Here. All right. Minutes at this time. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That takes items under budget and finance. We have no old business. Under new business, we have a consideration of pay estimate for the sewer trunk line project. Of course, this is being funded through a grant. Harold, is there anything out of the usual about this?
No. 30-inch sewer main down by the river, and we were since, but did receive an email that DRA grant. We've already had a closeout meeting with DRA, so rather than extend it, this is releasing that retainage, and again, that's just for that portion of the work. There is a top pat, and they did a pretty good job cleaning it up. There will be probably a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done, but we're going to be holding retainage on the next phase of the project, so I don't really see it.
What is that cleanup exactly?
They just need to dress up the dirt work so we can keep it mowed, or we can get a piece of equipment down there without.
Harold, what about
There were repairs on that they have done, so they were originally intending on being here tomorrow to do the remaining part of the project, which is the lining, but I think this weather maybe has slowed them down on another job, so it may be later in the week. So hopefully by the end of this week, we should be done with everything.
okay. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the pay estimate?
Second.
Heard a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Next, we have the consideration of the accounts payable registers. Any questions on the?
One question. What's our anticipated date of delivery for the truck? Okay. So not this year at all?
No, it will not be
I couldn't remember what.
let's see, where, yeah, it should have.
call attention, and I will watch the tourism, they had some $20,000 or close to it. But they seem to be watching it a lot more carefully than they used to, so obviously we need to watch it.
If there's no other questions on the bill, entertain. We have a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Up next, we have a presentation of financial reports by Scott Evans, Budget Officer.
Thank you, Mayor. We should do well. Is the snapshot. So we're ahead there. So we're the year. So we did 322 for the first 4 months. So we're just a little bit ahead on that. But again, that can be. I wouldn't put too much in that, but we obviously deficits since we've had so many years of surpluses. But again, we put in some of this ARPA money and various things, and we are doing that. So that's all happening.
Police department's expenditures. Okay.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember where that actually.
Temporarily, and I'm sure. And so. As I said, of course, bringing in the water department to this number, and 120 over, and no surprise, we knew this was coming. So. And again, terminated. So probably 3 in that I can think of. 2 in police and 1 in fire. So anytime we have those large. And that's what's going on. So. The next few months, we should start seeing that turn around. Look. So, of course, more through the 4 months. And it was or maybe a little higher than that, but so we and so that's what 4 months versus about 2,900 this time last year on average. That seems to be where it normally is. It's really hard to tell, but it could. The catch-up thing we did, I don't know, but you know, we'd like to see lower numbers, but. You know, people's health is going to be control these costs, even though if it's not for a couple of years. So, okay, any questions?
No, I always appreciate the thoroughly. I appreciate this one just the same.
Thank you.
All right, is there, moving on to the next item, consideration of financing for new street department dump truck and snow plow. Who would like to tell me about this? I know that we're, Ms. Ripley?
So we're purchasing a new dump truck for the street department. I obtained financing from First Southern and First Bank and Trust. First Southern was 5.0, First Bank and Trust was 4.7, so that one's my recommendation.
Those are both 5-year payouts, by the way,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
Darren, you still?
The amount.
$88,978, and this was budgeted.
Yes.
Would you say that one more time, Sandra? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
$88,978.
I'll make that motion.
I apologize.
No,
Jump in there.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I do want to point out, you know, we've got, and I know we need this, sorry, Darren, but when I look at the balances of the skid steer, and this is for all public works uptown, the skid steer, the Vector, the street department truck is a 22, Tim's truck is a 22, mini excavator. We have $267,363 in outstanding loans all up in that. 88 isn't all that bad, but I think we ought to keep in mind that we don't want to bury ourselves. I mean, that's a lot of, that we still owe on vehicles and equipment. Information for all of you.
We always want to be mindful of our budget, but of course, this was budgeted funds.
I get that. I just wanted everybody to be aware of what the outstanding payments and all the things we have are. Because sometimes it's real easy to approve the accounts payable monthly, but we don't look real closely at what's left on it, on those loans.
Well, be mindful too, that we have a foot of snow and you can't So if you want,
Mr. Austin?
well, I was gonna make light of the fact that I brought that truck home. The shit, they told me that there was one small fact that hadn't been done yet, and that was we hadn't paid for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we had a motion.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second to, I think the motion is to approve the financing of the First Bank and Trust. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comment on budget and finance? And then we'll move out of that to building and Michael.
Richard presented us with some provisions. After tonight's meeting, just to have a couple questions answered. And at that point, then I think we can probably move forward with that. So we're getting closer to coming to the end of getting this finalized. So thank you. We're going to get it done here real soon.
Good.
Yep. Citizen Center has called me twice, needing work done, so I have Mike Klutz scheduled to go some work. I have made them aware that $2,900 of their $7,000 budget has already been spent, and we're just now in May, so I told them just be pleased, be cognizant of where they're at on their budgets.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the work that you do monitoring things up there, and the cemetery committee has been doing good work, and I think we'll be happy with the result there very soon.
Comments? Hearing none, Mayor, we can move out of building and grounds.
All right, that takes us to community relations, chaired by Ms. Curry Wisdom. Janice?
Thank you, Mayor. Under old business, there is consideration of curb and gutter work along the south of 24 area. And I saw that there was a note in the notes from the last meeting.
I just, Sandra and I, this on the agenda or not, and I said, keep it on there at least for one more meeting, because we did have some residents come and express, that they are not happy with the drainage through that area. I think without even having gotten an estimate, it would be very expensive to do what they were asking to have done, but I don't know if, Darren, you've had time to kind of get out there and look at the situation, if there's, if ditching of some kind would be,
I don't believe that's the issue. I think what a lot of them are complaining about is that we don't run the street sweeper down the road. And if we do, with the gutter broom, it just flings the stuff back in their yard. And we have a curb or a gutter, so eventually it'll get it picked up. I think Mrs. Paul, I think she was just trying to speak for the whole neighborhood. There's one resident out there that we've been, pesky about running the sweeper down there, so we did it, and then it was right back out in the street.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I said, I took an estimate of about 1,200 to 1,500 foot of curb or gutter that would have to go in there, and I don't know what that's going to cost, but I'm sure it's significant.
Should we at least have our engineering firm run a estimate on that? Not saying that, but just so that, if those residents ask where it stands, that we've at least gotten numbers. I doubt that that would be something that would necessarily be grant fundable, but I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, we have a due conversation about it.
It still all flows to the south and then eventually works its way around.
Put a lot more coming a lot faster.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a big ditch on the east side of the Catholic cemetery that, you know, whenever it rains hard, it's full, and that's a 12, 14-foot ditch, and it can run full.
Yeah, you know, that washed that out down there from 60.
John?
I have a question, because I thought about this the last meeting. Don't we have to have a curb rather than just a gutter? Because if we don't have the curb, just the gutter, it's going to sling.
And it will, I mean,
On out,
so
so
some
that-
streets in town like Candy Lane, that just has a V gutter.
Yeah.
And we do the best we can there, but for the most part, those, most of the backup.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought, so we really need curb to solve that problem.
All right, well, if
Do
there's
you want
no,
to get some kind of estimate or not?
well, I don't see, I mean, I don't think that the city personally can afford to undertake this project at this time. I think that the issue is a real issue. I'm not trying to say that their experience isn't right, but I don't know that the remedy is worth the significance of the problem. And, you know, sometimes that's not the popular thing to say to residents necessarily, but I think that's the fact. But we at least probably ought to get an estimate so that we can have some concept of what we're talking about. So Harold, could you work on that for us?
I'll get with Darren and we'll work up something.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's all I believe I have on that.
Thank you, Mayor. And then, under new business, we have discussion regarding First Baptist Church serving as a storm shelter, and I see we have Pastor Nathan here, so.
Yeah, hello everyone. It's a continual community need that people request a storm shelter. In the past, the church has opened up our basement to try to be that storm shelter. The church is more than willing to always be the storm shelter. So we met with the council, everything's approved on the church's end to somehow figure out a way to where anytime it's needed, it's available for the community. The questions or hesitation on our end is immediate personnel. So say the siren went off at 3 a.m. or we have some storm at 3 a.m. We'll probably have a volunteer there as quickly as possible, but not as quickly as probably needed. So one of the thoughts is is there a way that we can partner with the city so that it's immediately personnel and then they're relieved from a church volunteer? Another question is how, who makes the call? Is it straight from the city? Are we sharing the city's post on Facebook? Are we wanting the church to do it? How do people know? And then how does that then go to our church liaison so that we have a volunteer there as quickly as possible? We're about totally fit 400 people in our basement in very safe places. But the idea that we can just immediately have a volunteer all the time, I don't think is realistic. So before the church can be hey, we're all every storm, this is where you go, you can really count on it. The hope on our end is we partner with the city and that kind of y'all are making the call, to be honest. I don't want to be the person deciding whether it's storm shelter night or not, but the call personnel is there. I don't really care who. Background check on that person, and I'm sure if the city is approving this person, we're good. And then the quickest the church could have a volunteer there to reprieve the person, we would. The church would then until it's safe again, or till the end, however you want to phrase it. I know it's not necessarily something we can like immediately decide upon tonight. There's some discussion and logistics to be figured out, but like on the church's end, we'd be more than happy to be like the go-to spot for the community. And we've got a team passionate about it, but some of us have, I live 20 minutes out of town. I can't necessarily get to church right away. So, any questions?
You also talk to your insurance company.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Is what we'll touch it.
Service animals.
Sure, service animals are totally fine, but regular old pets, we'd have to say no to. Any other like questions, thoughts?
Brian? Thought?
If you and myself and the mayor sit down, we can come up with a good plan there to where you have, a little bit of advance warning, usually hours in advance that it's going to be a possibility that might be needed. So I think we can work those details out. As far I don't know what we could do there. Certainly, I don't have the emergency management staff to be able to guarantee that I could get somebody there, right away. So that's probably a discussion we need to have, with the mayor, if he's got any ideas there, or any of the councilmen that would have ideas on how to staff that. But, the advance warning, we can certainly let you know well in advance, and maybe that's something we could work out that, your church members would have enough advance warning that they would know that's a possibility, and, possibly even be there. So.
I don't think the city's going to be able to provide a person that would be able to open the shelter. And the reason why is because, our staffing levels, especially in those departments that are around the clock, police and fire, are subject to the demand of calls, and so it creates a situation where we have 2 officers, say, on overnight or something, or 3, and there's a domestic disturbance call, and there's a, motorist assist call at the same time that there's a pending storm coming in. And so, how do you pull somebody away from one of those scenes in order to do that? I think I hate to be cynical, because I'm so thankful for what your church has done the last couple of years. I think you've had a decent turnout there a couple of times, have you not?
Yeah, for the last siren, we had over 40 people show up.
Yeah, and so I would want to see that continue, but the other thing is, it seems like these events really are occurring whenever the Storm Prediction Center days in advance is saying there's a level 4 or 5 or whatever. It really, to me, is thunderstorms can pop up at any time and be severe, with little warning. And I worry a lot about people who decide, well, they hear the storm siren go off, and now it's time to drive, through the storm to shelter when they might be safer where they are. So I have a lot of, I'm very thankful for what you're doing. I'm not sure how the city coordinates this any better than you're coordinating it now, based upon the way that storms develop. You know, these aren't hurricanes that we see out in the ocean, you know, a week in advance. So, I don't know, I'm thankful that people are turning out to be.
I would say that 90% of our people are local, so these aren't really people driving. These are people getting to church real quick. They're in city limits people. They're not outside of city limits people. And like as far as like uncomfortable conversation and question, like, you know, until someone dies in their house, it wasn't an issue. And if I'm responding to some call, how do I weigh this? You know, it's an emergency room problem. You know, this person has a broken leg, this person has a gunshot, this person's in a storm. Like, it's a very difficult problem, and the church will endeavor to be there as often and as quickly as possible. But in the event, like, we've had storm sirens go off at 3 a.m. with like little heads up. I'm talking about that. Like, hopefully 90% of the time, church is on top of it. We've got a volunteer close. But I'm real uncomfortable as a pastor being like, this is what we're doing, not knowing like 100% of the time it's available. That means at 2 a.m., that means at 5 a.m. So I'm not asking for the 90% of the time. Like, I think we have a very faithful team who's gonna show up, and they're gonna alleviate as quickly as possible. But I hate the scenario that like we said we're the storm shelter and the doors weren't open. Like, that's not, like, it's like we can't do that. So if we're gonna be the storm shelter, then we have to find a way that like that never occurs. So if we've got as much heads up as possible and like we're figuring out, that's cool. If we have someone else who's just hearing this tonight and is like, I'll be that middle person, then that's cool. But we've presented this. We don't feel like we have a person who's like, we got 20 people who are like, man, within 30 minutes, I'm gonna be there. But they're not the like, Johnny on the spot, paying attention to the storm, really like trying to be there ahead of time. And I don't want to commit to like, this is the city safe spot and be 30 minutes late. Just like laying my heart all out. And I know but I'm real nervous about that first 30 minutes, especially from like 10 p.m. to like 7 a.m.
Why don't I do this? Why don't I get together with Brian, as Brian suggested, and, you know, on our side, we can talk about the realities of, you know, what we could provide, if anything. And then we can, you know, get back to you and be realistic about that. Because we just want to get it right, and I want to make sure that we don't commit ourselves to something that we can't deliver either.
100%, yeah.
So,
And so the church will just be like as posted by our church, so we'll still try to do it as best we can, and if we miss one or two, like, you know, we're just doing the best we can.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Any other questions from council? No? All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
All right, back to you, Janice.
All right, Mayor, hearing no public comment, we can come out of that.
All right, that
Actually, I have a
is,
question, are we gonna keep it on the agenda, or are we just gonna?
we'll bring it back to the agenda after we
All right.
get together. That takes us to public improvement, chaired by Mr. Don Glenn.
Thanks, sir. There is no old business tonight. Under new business, discussion regarding the DCEO housing grant. Could you bring us an update, sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to let letters have went out to, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of people, we had something like 80 to 90 people apply, and Tammy Campbell, who is the coordinator for this grant, through the metrics that they have to people that applied, sent out these letters we felt were in the most need. And so these letters, there's quite a bit that's asked of the individual for them to verify their income and various other things that they attested to in their initial application. And so we're starting to see some of that trickle back in. So I wanted to just give you an update because I know that I've been asked about it quite a few times by people on social media. About it today on my Facebook page, sort of a screenshot of what the envelope is that's coming in the mail to people. So, any of you that are on social media that want to share that, it'd be great, because I want to make sure that, we all get a lot of various mail, and when you get something in a manila envelope from Murphysboro Housing Rehabilitation Grant, the more attention we can call to people so that we do get response would be, I think, a good thing. I also would just briefly mention that it is clear to me that out of the 80 or 90, we're only going to probably get funding, and we're going to have a list, right, of people that to some extent have shown a need for some sort of maintenance, whether it's a roof or HVAC or whatever. And I would like, at probably our next council meeting, Scott, I'd like to get with, look at those funds that are still left over from the old housing rehab loan program. I think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of $160,000 to $170,000 that's been kind of languishing in that account now for more than a decade. And if we have a list who have already shown need, we may want to try to think about tailoring our own program with those funds to help, because every time we tear down a house and we talk about, oh, well, here's $9,000 to tear it down or whatever, if we would have, $4,000 into it, it's not a tear down 10 years later, maybe. So that's something I think I want to really take a hard look at as we continue to watch the DCO housing grant unfold. So that's all I have on. Any other questions or considerations? If not, we can
Take that report.
Okay, thank you.
Zoning code to incorporate building code provisions on solar energy systems and battery energy storage systems. And all
package and ordinance by which the provisions that were adopted, I guess, with solar energy systems, it was back in December. Systems, we adopted provisions in April that have been setting for standards for both of those type of systems that Charlie had worked on and developed. We put those provisions under our building code, which sets forth the various standards that there would be part deal with the issuance of special use permits. If it's a solar energy system, if it's a commercial special use permit. The personal ones that are such as those that would be on a roof of a residence or ground mounted as a residence, those don't require special use permits, but there are provisions for variances for those different type of systems. Storage systems. Not only under into the special use permit. Also, we have various provisions. So what those procedures that are already set forth now in the building code. So we've incorporated those as part of the zoning code, so we can now have those hearings, if somebody does apply before the zoning board of appeal, for the zoning board of appeals to give their approvals for special use permits or variances if those are applied for. We also put in a third provision. There's with utility substations. It could be a substation that, in particular, a battery storage substation. We've put in provision to specify that if it is a utility substation, it would have to apply, meet those requirements of either the battery energy storage system or the systems, just to distinguish that it is something very different. In adopting this ordinance or requirement, was that we have a hearing before the zoning board of appeals. So we did have that hearing last Tuesday, May 19th. Appeals made the recommendation to approve these provisions that are now set forth, that are incorporated, been approved as a part of the zoning. Or variances that may be requested under those standards that have already been approved. So, kind of in a nutshell, that's all it does. That's why it's pretty simple and straightforward. The main provisions are already part of the building code.
Thank you, Richard. Any questions? I'm glad I'm up to date on this, because otherwise my head might be spinning. But anyway, it all makes sense. So I need a motion to approve this ordinance.
So
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who made the second? I'm sorry.
John.
Okay.
None, sir. Back to you.
Thank you. That takes us to Public Works, chaired by Mr. Gary McCollum. Gary?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you, sir. That takes us to Public Safety, chaired by Mr. John Ernest. John?
Thank you, Mayor. No old business tonight, new business, discussion regarding safe routes to school grant award. There's been quite a bit of interest. People want to know where their sidewalks are going to go.
Yeah, I wanted to put this on the agenda because ever since we announced that grant award for the 16th Street sidewalks, nobody wants it on their. And I just wanted to ask Harold Sheffer, essentially, and you may not have the answer, but do we know to what extent that one side of the road is better than the other, and whether all of that is going to be able to be done inside our existing right-of-way, and is there going to have to be, a boulevard between the sidewalk and the street? I mean, these are all the things that people are asking.
Well, I think right now it's scheduled to be on the east side of the street, and it's slated to be within the existing right-of-way. Now, there may be anything like this with ADA compliance, there may be some adjustments in driveways, accesses, and things like that. So, and it's scheduled to go from Harry Drive down to Guardside, but this is to Illinois Avenue at this time.
Well, and there was another person that messaged me and said that they knew it was against city ordinance to park a vehicle over a sidewalk, but that the driveways there, or, some of them are short or whatever, and that there would be no way that a sidewalk could be placed and they could continue to use their driveway in the same manner they're using it now. They wanted to know how the city was going to compensate them for the loss of their driveway.
I mean, honestly, the time we looked at it, just going through and doing the estimate, I didn't see anything like that. I mean, if they have a number of cars, maybe, but we can, during design, obviously, we'll take a lot closer look at it.
Okay.
If anybody,
the question was asked to me was if it's on the east side, are those mailboxes that's on the east side of that road, are they gonna be moved to the west side of the road, or will they stay where they're currently at?
I don't know,
Again, for the most part, they'll try to leave them where they're at.
Okay, that was a question that was asked to me, so.
Okay. Well, I wanted to talk about that, just so I could have an idea, because I really wasn't sure what the plan was for that design. That's all I have.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Mayor. Any public comment on public safety?
All right, that takes us to personnel chair by Ms. Barbara Hughes.
We have no old business, no new business, and there's a public comment on personnel. Go ahead.
Chief, who did we hire for the telecommunicator? Did you decide?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Joshua.
Okay.
Yeah, we hadn't got back with you two yet, but yeah, we found out some other information on the other applicant.
I found that out from Sandra, but, so when does he start?
June 2nd.
Okay. We do have a new telecommunicator that will start June 2nd.
He's a recent college graduate.
Yeah.
Joshua,
His last name escapes me right now, I've got a lot going on.
Starts with a C.
Oh, my. I can't think of,
Is he the one from Goreville?
Yes.
yes. And he actually had a criminal justice,
Degree. He just graduated 4 years at SIU.
which would be helpful to him also. He seems like a very intelligent man.
Yeah, I think he'll catch on to it really, really quick.
Did have them come in? Did you do that?
Most definitely.
I'm glad you did that. Thank you.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
You know, it's very unusual. Sometimes we have to dig through, we don't get enough applications, or we really have to dig through them to find 4 or 5 that are good candidates, or what we think would be good candidates to interview. And we had a nice pool.
His last the name that I sat here and talked about it.
Farms, I think they have.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, we had some good candidates. It was a harder decision than sometimes.
Certainly was.
Thank you.
Any public comment on personnel? I think I asked that, but personnel? Mayor, we can get out of it. Thank you.
All right. Mayor's report, just an update on 1524 Walnut Street. The paperwork has been exchanged between the city and Lynn Tire Corporation to move forward on that purchase, and we're just sort of looking for a closing date and waiting on some just additional title search work to be done as required by the terms of the agreement. So that is progressing. Also, a reminder that the Logan 200th birthday celebration and America 250 celebration, June 5th, 6th, and 7th. There will be a parade on Walnut Street that Saturday at 1 p.m. There's going to be an interesting thing at Riverside night, the 5th. A cricket match is going to be held at Riverside Park. I've never seen cricket played before, but I guess I'm going to get to. And on Sunday, the author that wrote Blackjack Logan, Gary Eckelbarger, is going to be in town at the Liberty Theater speaking. And so I've been involved with that group, and want to continue to mention that and hope people would come out and participate.
In the car show this weekend?
The car show is this weekend, that's right, because they have rescheduled so that folks can go to the big car show at DuPont Street Machine Nationals. All right, so with that, I'll go to Council. Ms. Curry-Witzman. Mr. Rogan?
nothing, thank you.
Mr. Austin?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Mr. Jackson? Clerk Hunsaker? Mr. McCall?
Oh, yes, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Mr. Glavine?
In approving this ordinance, I want to again thank Charlie for all the work that he's done on the solar installations in the city. There's a lot of them going on. Yeah, we need to be sure to keep up with it.
Thank you. Takes to department request, Attorney Blank. Nothing to report. Ms. Ripley?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Evans? Chief McBride?
Nothing. Nothing.
Mr. Manware?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Sheffer?
Nothing more.
Ms. Volley?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Iser? Nothing. Mr. Gladden?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Bills?
Nothing.
All right.